in that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. And yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer.
Ancient Egypt, Rome, Sodom and Gomorrah, and Nineveh multiplied by 1,000, all existing in one geographical location. It's a 2,000 by 3,000 square mile hell. That's what America is. America is Satan's headquarters. This is where the evil is rooted at and where it's spread all over the world. So, you know, we gotta come.
Price of freedom. What does it take to achieve the price of freedom? Not only even that. What would it take to be humanity? Because ever since I opened my eyes, I always been introduced to evil. You know what I'm saying? This whole world, like, you know, everything you want to do, positively, you got to fight for it. Freedom, the right to grow food, agriculture, you know, all that. You just got to fight for it. And you know, sometimes you got to ask yourself, what type of world is that? You born into a universe, you got to fight for everything. Even the small things, you know what I'm saying? You got to fight for sleep, to sleep somewhere that's good. You got to fight for food, to eat every day.
Not the United States. That same president said that he obliterated Iran's nuclear program in June, July last year. If they obliterated it then, why is it an imminent threat now? 2 weeks ago, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's Prime Minister, came to Washington with several points beyond the nuclear deal. One of them was ballistic missiles and one of them was Iran's proxies through the region. That's what I'm hearing there now. That speech could have been written and delivered by Benjamin Netanyahu. That is completely different from what Donald Trump's been saying. Only yesterday he said we are negotiating, and they were all looking for a nuclear deal, but they're
fight to get a wife. So, you know, this whole shit don't make sense, you know. So whoever was running the world, they ruined it. And we're watching their falls. And every day, it gets deeper and deeper. It's not coming back.
Find that the cost of continuing this war in money, in political will, in casualties, in global reputation, in economic disruption will become unsustainable, and America will be forced to retreat from the Middle East. And when that happens, when the American empire retreats from the Middle East, two regional powers will remain, Israel and Iran.
As long evil exists, you have to understand, nothing will flourish. Nothing will. How can it be when the next person that's on top of you, that got more than you, is hating on you? That make no sense. How you got more money than me, but you want to enslave me? You don't want me to come up. You don't want me to be like you. You do not want me to have trillions of dollars just like you, right? It's the reason why you go around the world thinking you're the only one that can possess a nuclear weapon, you know? But because it's not like you're listening, you're going to continue on what you're doing. So the best way to fix it is let it fix itself. That's all.
Iran will not hit back harder. Iran will hit back much harder. The head of the Iranian forces says Iran will destroy, target, and destroy all of the Israeli regime's infrastructure. This was the tip of the iceberg. Iran will lose no war. The Israeli regime will. It is time for you and others to end your racism and to end your support for the superior race, and to accept that all people in Palestine have equal rights, and the Palestinian people have a right of return. return. Jews, Christians, and Muslims are equal. Unlike what you say, they are equal, and we will accept nothing less than that. The regime must go, and all people must be treated equally. Right. And if the only thing, there's no doubt that Israel will lose, but the only variable here is the United States. If the United States gets involved, have no doubt, the U.S. will be swept out of Iraq by the Iraqi resistance, and all its assets in the Persian Gulf will be destroyed. All those regimes that U.S. bases will be destroyed, and the oil and gas markets will cause a situation where the global economy will collapse and millions of people will be on the move. So be careful about making stupid mistakes, and the West should stop with its arrogance and get